So let's talk a little about the Masterworks weapon attachments for Destiny 2. Specifically, we're going to be looking at reload speed, as that is the most measurable, and then we'll talk about some recommendations for some of your favorite weapons. So reload speed, I just took the raw reload speed of Better Devils with 10 in the magazine. I started it from the frame where the animation begins, and then I ended it on the final frame when the gun returns back to its original stable position. You can see right here that it takes about 3.006 seconds for Better Devils to reload, and that is without any sort of additional reload buff on any of the armor. And once again, that is with 10 in the magazine, not 13. 13 will be much slower. Now, without changing anything other than the Masterworks, let's see what happens when you put a reload speed Masterworks attachment on the exact same weapon. You can see here that I timed it the exact same way, first frame to last frame of the animation, and you will see the reload speed here is 2.751. That is an exact difference of 0.255, or roughly 1/4 of 1 second. Okay, so what does this mean for Better Devils? First off, I think as far as Masterworks weapons go, I don't think there really is any right or wrong answer. The Masterworks doesn't really affect any of the stats greatly enough to make a huge impact on the way that you play the game. Everybody plays differently, and ultimately I think it comes down to personal preference and whatever suits your playstyle the best. To be honest, the most important thing about the Masterworks is getting it on all of your favorite guns so that your entire loadout constantly creates orbs for not only your teammates but also for yourself. That's the real value in the Masterworks here. So just put it on your favorite guns, don't worry too much about what the roll is, and roll with the punches. Anyway, back to Better Devils. I think the things you should definitely be looking out for are handling and the increased magazine size. Now, as we just showed, the reload speed is so minor. Personally, I don't even really notice a difference whether I have a Better Devils with one on or off. But handling is really nice because anytime that you can take your gun out and you can have it readied quickly and it just feels nice to hold in your hands, that's always a plus. And with hand cannons, with Better Devils, I like to roll with 10 in the magazine because the reload speed is pretty much double than if you roll with 13. But having that additional bullet, putting 11 in the magazine with no sacrifice to any of the other stats, to me is pretty valuable. Sometimes that additional hand cannon shot might be able to save your life. Rolling for stability Masterworks is pretty much useless on hand cannons, and the range difference is so minor, I don't really think you are going to notice that big of a difference, considering hand cannon combat is most likely going to be close quarters anyway. Let's talk about a few other community favorite weapons. Nameless Midnight, the legendary Vanguard scout rifle. A few things to look for here. Once again, handling for very similar reasons as Better Devils, and we're going to go with reload speed. So why handling and reload speed? Like I said, handling for similar reasons as Better Devils, it just feels really nice to use as a user holding the gun. And reload speed because this scout rifles generally already have a pretty good reload speed, and I think just getting an even quicker reload speed is really nice. I mean, this thing will reload lightning fast, especially if you have other sorts of armor perks set up on your character. So stability, this gun's already pretty stable. Stability is most likely useless for most guns, and range, this gun already has pretty good range, so you can forget about that. As for magazine size, most scout rifles already have a decent magazine size, so just adding one additional bullet to that magazine size isn't really going to do too much for you like it would a hand cannon like Better Devils or Midnight Coupe. Let's segue over to Mananan. Mananan, Banana Man, Hannamanan, whatever the hell you want to call it. This scout rifle, lightweight scout rifle, energy slot, super popular, get it from the gunsmith. I think you'll see the same things here to look out for are very similar to Nameless Midnight, handling and reload speed. However, I do think that there is a third perk that this gun might make good use of, and that is range. The reason I say that is this gun actually does not have good range for a scout rifle. So that little bit of range might be proportionally noticeable, and you might be able to reap some benefits from that. So feel free to try that out as well. So for auto rifles, this one's actually a little bit tougher for me. Right here I am showing Valakadin, but there are many other options. Valakadin is just extremely popular. There's Perseverance, Uriel's Gift, Positive Outlook. There's a few auto rifles also in your kinetic slot, and this could also, I could say the same thing for SMGs as well. But if I had to pick two, I guess I would go with range and handling. Once again, stability is kind of useless. A little bit of extra range might be able to help out. Handling, once again, always very nice. And the magazine size wouldn't really make much sense here. You already have a pretty decent magazine size. Proportionally, you wouldn't be adding much to it. But you could also do reload speed for a gun like Valakadin. It has a very fast reload speed, so adding even more reload speed to that would be a similar effect to like a scout rifle, just making it super quick, super efficient. But I think auto rifles and SMGs, up to you. Orb generation is key. And the final weapon that I will be talking about is Curtain Call. This is the legendary Vanguard rocket launcher. Very, very, very popular. Definitely the most used PvE heavy weapon, or I'm sorry, power weapon in the game. For many different reasons, but mainly because of its cluster bomb rockets. A lot of people do use Sins of the Past. I would not recommend using Sins of the Past over Curtain Call. Curtain Call is better, so use that. Things to look for on Curtain Call. I definitely would go, I think handling's probably your number one, and then reload speed would be your number two. The handling on Curtain Call is really bad, so the increase that you would get, even though it's a little bit from the Masterworks, could be somewhere around like a 50% increase in handling, and then reload speed, because if you don't have a Titan barricade or some way to reload your weapon, you know, reloading a power weapon can be kind of annoying, so a little bit of an increase might help you in certain situations, whether it be life or death. But I think they're way more important than something useless such as stability, and the gun itself gives you multiple options in the perk tree to mess with the blast radius and velocity to your liking. Alright guys and gals, that about sums it up. So I know I did not go over every single Masterwork and its changes to the stats. I just went over some of the most important and popular PvE weapons and what my recommendations are, what I run on those weapons. So I think if you're going to take away one thing, the stat changes or the Masterworks role is not the most important thing. It's just getting your favorite loadouts and with all of your friends, all having Masterworks and all of your favorite guns, so that you guys are just orb creating machines. You guys are creating orbs for yourself and for your team. You guys will be blasting supers like crazy. So get it done. If I missed any weapons, comment them in the comments section, and I will give you my opinion if you want it. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.